Okay, 10.2, standard deviation. So we're going to learn about standard deviation. It shows how the data deviates from the mean. So if you have the average, how far are most of the data from that average? So data points that are really close will have a low standard deviation. Data points that are further away will have a larger standard deviation. So again, the lower the standard deviation, the closer it is to the mean. Standard deviation is represented by the letter sigma, the Greek letter sigma. So if you see that, that's what we're referring to. So the steps for finding standard deviation, the first step is to find the mean. So to find the mean of the data points, you're going to add them all up. So 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 6 plus 9 plus 11 plus 9, 8, 11, 7, 9, 11, 11, 5. And so it equals 127. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 numbers. So divided by 14. And we have 9.1. Okay, so that's our mean, which we call x bar. So the mean, step 1, is 9.1. Step 2 says find the square of the difference between each data point and the mean. So we're going to take the mean and minus, so 9.1 minus 9, which is the data point here, equals 0.1, and then we're going to square that. So 0.1 squared is 0.01. And that takes care of 9. There's another 9, so I'm just going to repeat that value again for the second 9. And there's another 9, so that value gets repeated again for that 9. And there's another 9. So instead of having to do it all over again, I'm just going to do the 9s. So then the next number we have is 10. So if we do 9.1 minus 10, we get negative 0.9, and we're going to square that. And we get 0.81, and 10 is only on there once, so we just get that one value. And then we're going to do 9.1 minus 11, which is going to be negative 1.9 squared, which is 3.61. And that's 11. There's one of those, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And then we have a 6, so 9.1 minus 6 equals 3.1. Then we're going to square that. We get 9.61, and that's the 6. There's only one of those. And then we have an 8 in here, so 9.1 minus 8 is 1.1. So 1.1 squared is 1.21, and that's the 8. And then we have a 7. 9.1 minus 7 is 2.1. Squared is 4.41. And then we have a 5. 9.1 minus 5 is 4.1. Squared is 16.81. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 numbers. We should match up with the 14 we originally had. So we find the difference of the number and the mean, square it, and we do that for every number. If you have the same number more than once, it's easiest to just do this instead of doing it separately. And now you're going to find the sum of all these numbers. So 0.01 plus 0.01 plus 0.01 plus 0.01 plus 0.81 plus 3.61, and we have 3.615 times. Sorry, I hit the wrong button on my calculator. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have 9.61. And then we have 1.21, 4.41, and 16.81. So if I add those all up, I get 50.94. So it says find the sum, so that's step 3. Is adding them all together. And then step 4 says divide that by the number of numbers. So we take 50.94 divided by 14, which is 3.64. And then the last says take the square root of that number. So then the square root of 3.64 is 1.91. So that is the standard deviation. So what does that mean? Most of the numbers for this data set are within approximately 2 units of 9. Okay, so that means if we went down by 1.9, 9.1 minus 1.9 is 7.2. And we went up by 1.1 would be to 10. So most of the numbers fall between 7.2 and 10. So that's what standard deviation, how far the numbers deviate from that mean. So we had a second number set to do this with. So again, we got to find the mean. So we're going to add up all our numbers. 1950 plus 2000 plus 2100 plus 2000 again plus 1900 plus 2100 again plus 2000 again. And we get 14050 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is 2007.1, we'll say. And actually, to make this easier, let's just go with 2007. So step 2, we're going to take each of these and we're going to multiply. So subtract 1950 minus 2007 is negative 57 squared equals 3,249. So that's the 1950. And then we're going to do 2000 minus 2007, which is negative 7 squared is 49. And that's 2000, which happens 3 times. So we have 49 3 times. Then we have 2100 minus 2007, which would be 93 squared is 8649, and that was 2100, which happens twice. So we have another 8649, and then we have 1900. 1900 minus 2007 is negative 107, and so 107 is going to be 11449. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. We're going to add those up. So 3249 plus 49 plus 49 plus 49 plus 8649 plus 8649 plus 11449 is, so the sum is 324143, and then we're going to divide that by 7 because there's 7 numbers, which is 40,591.9, and we're going to take the square root of that number. And that gives me 67.8. So the variation for his calorie intake is within 67.8. That's how much it deviates. Okay? Of the mean, the average was 2007. So if we went down by 67 or up by 67, somewhere between 1940, if we go down by 67, up to, if we go up by 67, that would be 2074-ish. So most of the data falls in this range is what that basically tells you. Okay. So we're going to do the rest of this on Desmos.com. So these 2 tables were in the directions are here. You're going to click, and I'm going to kind of do this with my, trying to hold up the phone, so I apologize if it's shaky a little bit. But we're going to click the plus sign, hit the table. We're going to enter, so if you look here, there's 2 tables. We're going to enter the first table, so table rock, in the X columns. So I've got 81, hold on, 78, 79, 82, 90, 80, 79, 83, 81, and 80. And then, oops, sorry, I apparently forgot to hit the enter in here. 79, then 82. So we'll put the 82 here and get rid of it up here. So then the second, we're going to put table 2, the Black Hawk, as Y. So 84, 79, 86, 78, 77, 88, 85, 79, 87, 86. And then once you do that, you're going to hit box 2. And you're going to go, if your keyboard is not open, open your keyboard. If it is, then you're all set. Go to Functions. And we're going to start with Mean. So I click on Mean. If you didn't know where that was, again, you got to go to Stats and then Mean. And then once you get there, you're going to put over here X1 and hit Enter. Oops. I hit an extra button. X1 and hit Enter. And that gives you the mean for Table Rock, because we put Table Rock in the first one. So the mean is 81.3. Okay, and then we're going to go back up and do the same thing. We're going to go over here and hit mean in the next box, and we're going to put Y1. Enter. And that's going to give us the mean of the second column of the table, which was our Black Hawk, 75.3. And then we're going to go back up and we're going to go back to our functions. And the next box, and we're going to hit Standard Deviation, which says STDEV. And we're going to go over and do the X1. And the standard deviation for the first one is 3.4. So standard deviation is 3.4. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go back over to functions, make sure we're in statistics, hit standard deviation. And we're going to put in Y1. Hit enter. The standard deviation for Y1 is 24.0. Oops, I messed up. Sorry. The first box in Y1 should have been 84. So let me just go fix those two datas. So the mean is 82.9. So sorry, Black Hawk, the mean should be 82.9, and the standard deviation should be 4.2. I noticed that standard deviation seemed too far off. So that was my fault. I had put an 8 instead of 84. So now we have the mean and standard deviation. So what can we see about this? That the mean, so it's saying his score is at two different places. His average score is lower at Table Rock, and there's less deviation. At Black Hawk, his average score is a little higher, and his scores deviate a little more. So that's how we're going to do that on the calculator. Okay. So then there's another table here with Anna. And the same thing we're going to do. So I'm going to put the data in the table. Okay, so we have the data in the table. So same process. We're going to go to box 2. We're going to go over to our functions. We're going to make sure we're on stats. We're going to pick the mean. And we're going to put X1, enter. And you can record that for the first line of A, which is 4.4. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to our function, hit mean, and put Y1. And that's going to be for lineup B, and that's 4.42. I'm going to change this one to 4.35 and round to 2 decimal places so we can see that they are not the same. So that's the mean. And then the standard deviation for each, we go back up into functions, and we go to standard deviation, and we hit X1. It's 0.17 for this one. And then if we go to the functions, standard deviation, Y1, it's actually it's the same thing, 0.17. So the mean and standard deviations for those sets are there. Okay, so you're going to use a calculator to do this work, which makes it much easier than the doing it by hand we did at the beginning. For the worksheet, you're going to have to show both. So there's some where you're going to use a calculator and some where you're going to use do it by hand. So do them carefully and then turn in both the worksheet and the notes.